Welcome back for part 2. Thanks for coming back. And we have more favorite things for you. We'll tag the black and blue collar reader again. I'm sure he's going to get sick of being tagged in this 3-part video series, but we will be back with the 3rd part after this one. All right, so moving on to something a little more straightforward. So favorite authors. I'm just going to quickly, I know we talk a lot about books, so I'm just going to go over it quickly. Hemingway, Ruth Ware, Gillian Flynn, although I heard someone say Gillian, so maybe it's Gillian Flynn, and then Ian Reid. Those are my favorites. That tends to change all the time, though, so... And then Sir Chunk has one.
Yeah, I like plenty of books and plenty of writers, but I'm just going for one for my favorite. It's Ray Bradbury. I remember frequently yelling out loud when Bradbury was old, like, that man needs to start writing more stuff before he dies. And then that was the kiss of death, because like 2 months after I said that, he died. So I apologize to Bradbury and his family. If you don't love Ray Bradbury, read more Bradbury, because you're wrong. My favorite spot to I don't even have a favorite spot to read or write. I like there's a porch at our house that I like, and so that's a pretty nice place to chill and read stuff, but the lighting's not that great, so I have to kind of only do it outside. I'd like to get a light put out there so I can chill and read at like midnight on the porch. That'd be pretty sweet. And writing is just anywhere my computer will not run out of energy. That's my requirement for writing.
Yeah, we both have this. We have the same computer, and it does not like to hold charges. It's very annoying. So for me, I like to read in bed. There's nothing better than cuddling up. And my cat loves books. All he does is sleep on them, but he loves to sleep on them or smack them or like rub his face into them. So it's really great because like I'll just stack some books up. He'll come and cuddle up against the books and between me and the books, and then I can read and cuddle a cat, and it's just pretty much perfect. And then for writing, we used to live in this place that had an electric fireplace, which is amazing because you don't have to do all of the work of like building a fire and then cleaning up after a fire, and monitoring the fire. And it was, or was it electric or gas? Yeah. It was gas, sorry. And so we had this fireplace, and I would bring up my chair right up to the fireplace, and the cats would sleep around me and chairs around me or around my feet or right in front of the fire. And I would just put my computer up and I would write. And that's how I pretty much wrote the first I always say the first real novel, but the first novel that I had published under my current pen name, I wrote it doing that, and so that's my favorite place to write. But I can't write there anymore because I don't live there.
It's also a great place to discuss possible murderers when you're trying to solve a crime.
Yeah, it's a really good place if you want to play a clue game, I'll be honest.
Or actual murder solving.
And then favorite time of day, mine... ironically is like dawn, like right as it becomes light, because it's really quiet, except I'm never up at that time because I'm a night person. So if I'm up, I'm usually up because I've like been up and haven't gone to bed yet. But every so often there's like that moment, like when I just happen to wake up early. I wake up at 4 or something. Sometimes when I'm working, I have a couple days a week where I'll get up really early because I can get a lot of stuff done before work, and so I love being up at that time because I can have my coffee and like a few cars are out for the commute, but it's pretty quiet in the neighborhood. It just feels, it's like a weird moment where you're like literally watching the world start to wake up, and it's really, really cool.
I hate the time of day.
That's because he has to commute during it.
Yeah, I hate morning. I got 2 times a day that I like. One is the witching hour, when hell breathes out contagion to the world. No, graveyards yawn, and then hell breathes out contagion to the world. You gotta get the order right. But anyway, yeah, midnight, really cool. And of course, I love twilight. It's like the opposite of dawn. Things are getting orangey and purpley and cool, and you're like, oh, good, the day's over. I can stop dealing with all the crap of the day and just enjoy some creepy night mysteries.
I almost said twilight just because I like the word crepuscular, but
it is a good word.
It's just, I can't pick a time of day just because I like a word.
Are these mammals crepuscular?
All right, so favorite color.
My favorite color, as you can see, if your screen is accurate, is freaking green. Hard to get too off the rails here on colors. Should I have gone with a chartreuse? Perhaps, but I went with green. I most prefer bright greens, but darker. It's hard to say darker bright green, but not like a yellowy thing, like a deep, bright, fluorescent kind of green. Yeah, green.
Well, I have 3 because I can't make decisions. Purple is generally my favorite color, but I also really like grays and silvers. And I feel like almost everything I own seems to be in black. But honestly, this is a great combo. So anything that's like purple, gray, or silver and black, those are my favorites together. But purple, if I had to pick one. And then we have like pick your favorite YouTube channels, and I felt really weird doing this because like I didn't want to. I mean, I have no problem like tagging, some people that I like, just be like, hey, these are some people I watch. But I thought it was kind of weird. I don't know. I felt like you're putting pressure on people, like to be like, oh, go watch these people, and then they're like, why did you talk about me? Like, so I'm going with like bigger channels just because, where it's sort of anonymous and they're not going to care. And so I have Cinefix, which if you're looking for top 10 lists, they make the best in the world. Their structure is great. I think they're now part of IGN, but they've been doing their lists forever, and their lists are just fantastic. I have it's the Warp Zone, right? I always want to call them Warp Speed, which is obviously not right. Which is like a sketch comedy group, but in particular, I really, really loved their Game of Thrones like song parodies. So, I mean, I've watched other stuff of theirs too, and they are pretty funny, but I really love those Game of Thrones songs.
Steal My Kill is a great one.
Yeah. Well, that too. That's not, obviously, that's from Smash Brothers.
No, right? That's Warp Zone.
Yeah, no, I know. It's a Smash Brothers. It's not a Game of Thrones parody.
General, yeah. They mostly use Smash Brothers. They use a bunch of things for Steal My Kill. They have like Halo in there and stuff.
Yeah, it's a gaming thing. But they do have some really good Game of Thrones ones too. And then if sports cards mostly for Wife Pack Wars. I haven't really watched. I know Sir Chonk has watched some of his other stuff, but I really love Wife Pack Wars. They just seem really pleasant and sweet, and they open sports cards. And so none of these are related to really the majority of what we do, because I don't know. I felt weird calling people out.
Qualifiers. All right, so I also picked a few pretty common things. Honest Trailers is one of mine. I think most people know what Honest Trailers is at this point. It's massively popular, but it's one of the few things where I'm like, oh, it's Tuesday, time to watch Honest Trailers. I actually take note of what day it is for the purpose of going to YouTube to watch them. That's the only thing that I do that for. So they make the list. Also, I've got Como Comic Books. He's not a massive YouTube channel, but he's the Columbus, Missouri, so the Como. But this guy is a big comic book dude, he's a big comic book store, knows what he's talking about, really gives you straightforward information. He's not doing that crap where he's trying to sell something so he talks it up. No, he's giving you useful, interesting comic book information. Strikes me as a real fan. I like that dude.
He has a great collection too.
Yeah, massive collection, of course, as well. And then also the last thing I have is What Culture, but specifically What Culture Wrestling, and then specifically in that What Culture Wrestling, the Simon Miller stuff. He's the bald dude. If you ever watched the What Culture Wrestling, he does a lot of the reviews of the various shows, and they're hilarious. And also, fun fact, if you watch wrestling at all, every so often in the stands, you'll see somebody with a sign that says, Simon, give me an up. And that is actually a reference to his show. He's so popular, he gets referenced on the shows. So yeah, he's big. Everybody knows who he is if you're into wrestling. Very entertaining guy.
All right, so we have play in our musical, and Sir Chunk's going to go first, but it's good because his picks were, I was torn on mine, and so his picks are the ones I would have picked if I didn't pick mine.
Right, so my favorite play all time is Hamlet. It's kind of obvious, I suppose. I've read a ton of plays, and I got to tell you, though, I don't care if it's obvious or not, Hamlet is the freaking best play. I quoted it briefly earlier. And as an added perk, when we were in England, we saw Hamlet live at the Globe on Shakespeare's birthday. Does that make me cooler than you? No. Does it make me nerdier than you? Probably.
Oh, yeah, it definitely makes us nerdier.
Right. That was pretty awesome, though. Love that. Hamlet's the best. And then my favorite musical is, again, also not off the beaten path choice or anything. I went with Rent. There's a couple things I'll plays I really love. I love Spring Awakening. That was in consideration. But Rent's my favorite. One of the first sort of big musical productions that I saw. And I didn't really want to go see it. And after 10 minutes, I was like, damn, this is awesome. And I've just loved it since then.
Yeah, I dragged him to see it. It was my graduation gift from college. And it was him and my sister and I, and so the three of us went, and we were both into the play, and he was like, "Why am I even going to this?"
All right, you two could have gone on your
He's
own.
like, "You could have had fun," and I was like, "I want you to come. You're gonna like it."
That's her voice, actually.
Yeah, and he was not having it, and then like 5 minutes in, he's like, "Okay, I get why you keep seeing
Yeah, it
this."
was amazing.
Because I'd seen it a few times already.
And now I've seen it like 5 times at this point.
Right. And so mine, also in a pretentious and nerdy way, my play is Equus, which has been one of my favorite plays since pretty much, I think, like freshman year of high school. It's a weird long story, and I'm not going to get into. But basically, every time I would think about the book or someone would mention the book, and whenever I'd go to like a library or a bookstore within like 24 to 48 hours of somebody mentioning the word Equus, it would be somehow like pulled out of a shelf and just sitting somewhere. So I always felt like the book was like stalking me. So I finally read it, and then it was like I loved it, and I was like, I feel like I was like fated to read it. But then when we went to London, we were able to see it with Daniel Radcliffe
and Uncle Dursley.
Oh yeah, and Vernon Dursley, and it was
Jenny Agutter.
Yes. and Will Kemp, who's I think popular in some other stuff.
I don't know who that is.
And I'll say, I mean, I love the play, and like for Daniel Radcliffe to, I know a lot of people were like, oh, could he handle this? One, it was awkward because he was still like 17, I think, at the time, and I felt a little weird because I was like, I don't want. And then I had to see Harry Potter, like the 5th movie after that.
Wingardium Leviosa.
Yeah, and I was like, look, I've seen him naked now, and I don't really feel comfortable watching anything.
Way up close too. We were like on the stage.
Yeah, we sat on the
special,
stage.
Like stage ring you can sit on. So we were like, I would say too close.
Yeah, definitely close. But he was incredible. Like he is a fantastic actor, and if you've only seen him in Harry Potter, well, go see Swiss Army Man because he's also awesome in that. But he's a really great actor.
A corpse in that mostly, but this is somehow a good movie.
Yeah, but somehow he's good at it. And then my play is Hamilton, which it's funny because it was so hyped up, and by the time we went to see it, I really wanted to see it, but I was convinced I was going to be disappointed. I was so convinced it was like all hype, and then I would just, because it didn't really interest me. The plot seemed kind of, and the music I liked it all right, but I didn't love it. And then we saw it, and I was like, okay, I get it now. Like, and now I can't stop listening to it. I watch it all the time on Disney Plus. It's fantastic. It deserves the hype for sure. And then, okay, so favorite place you've been. Mine is very broad. I'm just going to say London. I've been a lot of places. I like to travel. I pretty much love everywhere I go. But I feel like the one place I could go back to is London. And there's really no part of London I don't enjoy. Like, sometimes we'll spend time in like, the more, common areas, like right around, Westminster Abbey and, the Eye and like what you're seeing here. Or, we spent some time in Hampstead, or what was the other one? Highgate. And that was really nice. But like you can always find just a really cool pub and that's just super casual, and then you can also go to the theater. And there's like plays, and within a day like you can get great tickets. Everything about London is just amazing, and I'm totally a British culture kind of, like I have like a problem. Right.
So there's lots of places I've been that I really like. My favorite is probably in first grade. My friend Dave had a really nice bathroom, and I would say that Dave's not Dave's bath. Dave's bathroom is up there. But I'm going to go with essentially, I think it was Sorrento. I'm not even sure.
We didn't actually stay in Sorrento. It was like a small town next to Sorrento.
It's like the small version of Sorrento that's so small I don't even remember the name of it. But basically it's on the cliffside looking out at the Mediterranean, and it was insane. Like, this picture cannot begin to capture how beautiful it was.
Yeah, this is our view from our room, from our balcony.
Again, at twilight, best time of day, looked amazing. They had this cool restaurant bar that also had an amazing view you could hang out in. Just beautiful, amazing food, great chill atmosphere, and the view was absolutely insane. Probably the prettiest view I've ever seen, so this would be my top place.
And their pizza came by the meter.
Oh, yeah. I went to, some guy had a French fry pizza, and I was like, I want a French fry pizza. And the guy goes, how many meters do you want? I was like, what?
The Italians. All right, thanks again, and we will see you soon for part 3. Thanks.